Hi, we're going to talk about the password here for the Linux here. They said that the password are normally displayed as dots or heuristics as a security feature here. They're not going to show you your password here. You know your password here already here. So like in here, that's your password, dot, 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 dot. To preventing others, they're sharing your computers. That's a typical feature for Mac. For Windows, they're all the same here. No difference from any other stuff here. And they have some command here. You say etc password as in grep, Jones, and etc password to find your password here, and to change your password, or cat here, etc password here. So you want to see all the users here, and you create some user, and you are the administrator here, and they have some process that look like a user here. So there are many users in this Linux environment here. So that's the command you can use to handle the stuff here. So they show you like Windows NT, Active Directory here. That's the network account database here. So that's a different stuff here. Network database here. You want to know that Windows here, they show you that's my book. Okay, so they're talking about Windows NT. Yeah, we're not going to talk about Windows NT here. And they have some terms here. NIS plus, lightweight directory access protocol here, and Windows NT 4.0 domain Active Directory. Active Directory is more useful here. You may want to know. So what is the Active Directory? They are using a lot here. So in here, understanding the group here, they show you group name, password, GID, group ID, user list here, and new group here, and project 1 here. This command here, so the file you create will be associated with that group. How about that? It's very useful, right? You create a new group here called project 1, and the file here now is under this group here. So you can associate to this group here, and that's only change command, change mode here. So that's very powerful, very easy. Okay, type who am I? Yeah, I did that a lot here. Type who am I? They give you your name here. It's not like you forgot who you are here. Say, why you want to know who am I? Because you may have an administrator account. You may have a normal user account. Type in who am I. Then they tells you you are using an administrator account to log in, or you are using a normal user's account to log in here. So you type in who am I. So it's kind of funny, huh? And so you type in ID. They tell you user ID is 1003. Your name is Luke, and your group ID is 100 users here. Groups equal to 100. And 16, 18 audio. See Chrome example showing you your user ID and your group ID, your group membership here. So it's very cool here. Now you type in main group. They tell you here display the group ID based on the -G here. This G here display all the groups which you belong here. Thinking about this way here. You work for a company, you may belong to different groups here. So then you can work in different groups project here under the Linux environment here. People, they just as long as they assign you in the group here, then you can see all the files here. It's no fancy, it's very easy to use here. And user here, of course, showing you user your info here, using the N here, conjunction to group here, R here. So they show you Linux is perfect for doing the group project here. As long as you assign to a group, you can read, write, run the command file here. They show you who. Yeah, remember you just type in who am I. Now you type in who. So you have look, Sari, Rod here. Who are there? Who is online here? Online here is not like you're connecting to internet. Is who is logged in to the Linux system here. See here, who? When I work, that was 30 years ago when I started to use Linux here. I mean, I use that command sometime. My boss must have been used a lot. Type in who. Yeah, who are still working here, huh? Who are logged on here. Then once you type in who, you know, oh, okay, so someone's still logged on. Yeah, then you can say someone's still working, huh? So you know. And yeah, that's very cool. Say just who who am I? Username here, terminal identifier here. That's your, here's the term here. That's your computer. Computer under the Linux environment here. You only have monitor and keyboard, so it's called terminal. Login data and time here. They show you who shows, when login here. So like this day here, at what time they log in here. They show you here, remote host here. You can remote login who-q here, log, Sari, rod here, user number 4 for users here. You use a Q here. And this is very good to use here, command here, W here, who, W, what is W? Who, short for W. You type in WHO, who, or type in W, that's the same. They can give you a long format here, so everything here, user here, and say log here, and the Sari here, rod here, login time here, idle, CPU, what. They show you many information here. Hold on a minute here. So I'm going to see if I can power on the light. Yep, I'm back here. Let's continue to see this W here, and you can keep doing as a root user here, Linux module here, it's a root account here, and why work as a root user here, day to day here, they tell you here, privilege here, so the root user here. So you are a administrator, log in as root. You can log in directly as a root here. Use su here, the su command to change your identity. Use su username here, change your identity to username here. And su-c command, use a sudo here. The sudo command here, that's really a command you want to know here, similar to su here. But it works for just one command at a time here, which you type after sudo here, similar. So they give you some example, you type in su here, then they ask you the password here, su here, the password here. Then you give a password, you go to the root here. See here, root, from look to root here, su here. Concatenate, so cat etc shadow here, choose the command here to see the root info here. Then that's setting the root password here, sudo here. You type in sudo, testing the password here. You are administrator, of course, you can set up some user password here for new users here. So setting the root here, and use privilege here, safely here. That's be careful when you are logging as a root user here. You can make a lot of damage if you make some mistake here. mkfs here, dbsda2, that's all command here, and they also recommend you to take the following precautions when you are logging as a root users. Ask yourself if you really need root access here. You don't need it, just use normal user. Don't play with it. It's a warning here. I mean, you log in as a root user, you can make lots of damage here, unnecessary. We are only human being here, so don't play with it here. Before pressing enter key here, command as a root here. Yeah, take your hands off here, the keyboard and the mouse here. Look over the command and careful. Well, I mentioned to you, right? Linux is very powerful. Just a line of command can damage a lot. So you are a root user. This guy asks you, once you type in a command, move your hand off the keyboard, move your mouse, move your hands out of the mouse here before you hit enter. Try to check one more time, and never run a suspicious program as root here. You want to try out something here, don't use this one here. Don't use one, use a normal user mode here. Just use root privilege to a brief period of password. So yes, log in as a super user, as an administrator using the root here. Finish your stuff here, because if you go there, you play for 30 minutes, 40 minutes here, you get tired, then you forgot. Hey, I want to try this, I want to try that. Then you make a mistake here. That's real bad here. Never leave a root share accessible to others, of course. Then you need to sit there. Don't go away here. You go away, people don't know. Then they say, hey, okay, let me use a little bit here. Then they, under your root mode here, they can damage a lot. Be careful with the root password. You don't want to share with anyone here. That's very. So sometimes we all know working in the industry here, you ask your coworkers here, yeah, this is my root password here. Go there and do a little bit something for me here. That's no good. Yeah, you need to be very careful about the root user password here. Do not give to anybody else here. Once we have a administrator left the company here, we need to be very careful about changing the root password here. If we don't do that here, something funny may happen here. No. So let's see here. We can see some examples here, some command here, and this gentleman have done a great job. So let's see here. Keep going, see how he show you some other command about the user account.
So, user add. On Debian systems, you can get a little wizard with add user, but I'm going to stay away from that. It's just a Perl script that gives you a nicer sort of like wizard format, but it's really not what you want when you're scripting. So we're going to just stay away from it. Also, something that's only works on Debian is kind of silly. So, user add, user del to delete the user, and then these things all have arguments. So the arguments I think you'll see the most are, we're going to add a test user here. User add -m, create the home directory, and then define where the directory is. So home test user or something else. We can say this person's home directory is home schnurg. We can define a UID. So if this user is like some special thing that we need to sync up with LDAP, we just do, I don't know, 1. We could define the group ID as, I don't know, 66 if that's my staff group or something like that, but we won't define that for now. And then we'll define a default shell. These are the values that I find myself using the most when I'm adding new users. So if you don't define bin bash, the default shell will be empty in etc password, and the user will get whatever the default shell is on the system. On Linux, it's a really kind of crappy stripped down shell, binsh, which actually on BSD Unix is a really nice shell. We'll give this person bin bash and just a username. It has exited without any errors. So let's look at our files again. What's happened here? Well, password and shadow files have been edited. You can see there's the schnurg user, and this is just auto incremented the UID, group ID. Home is set as home schnurg. Bin bash is the shell. Let's look at etc shadow. Schnurg. Can't log in yet, no password set. We'll have to set the password manually. Let's also check if the home directory was created. So if we list home, you can see schnurg was created. Now, how did it know what to put in there? For example, if you list schnurg, you can see there's an examples desktop file. Where does that come from? Well, it comes from etc skell. If we list etc skell, that's the skeleton directory that's copied into the user's files if you are creating the home directory. And you can see there's that file, etc skell. What else has happened? I mean, if we do a long listing on home, you can see that once etc password and etc shadow were modified, and etc group, which I'll show you in a second, the home directory was created. Its owner was set to schnurg with chown, change owner, and its file mode was changed to 755. So let's just take a quick gander at etc. Actually, we'll just grep for schnurg, and let's see, group. And you can see it's just part of a single group, the schnurg group, the one that was created by default for this user. No one else is a member of it. So there you go. That really is what makes up a user on a Linux system. User add will work on every Linux system, almost every Linux system. And if you want to remove somebody, user del, but first I'll just show you, you would set a password for that user. Sure. It would ask you what you want. You set the password, And now if we tail etc shadow, you can see Nerd is now no longer a locked passwordless account. If we wanted to lock it again with a password, we could do user mod L Nerd. And if we tail it again, you can see, bang, user mod lock the account. Simply place a little exclamation mark in front of there. And if we do user mod, yep, removes it again, gone. So this person can log in again. Good. So that's locking, unlocking, and creating users. If we want to delete this user that we created, we'll simply do user del. Now if we tail shadow, he's gone. Password, gone. Group, gone. Okay, so you can tell this thing is looking through all here. But the home account, the home directory is still there. And still belongs to a user. Now you can see what's really happening here, right? These UIDs all exist, so the system can simply look them up. This is really what you're seeing when you stat like a file. It's just numbers. This is the user ID, group ID. When you list something on your shell, it's being very friendly and going, oh, it's a user and group ID. Let me look those up for you so I can give you like a human readable name for those. Oh, this is Dave. It's UID 1001 or whatever it is. And this is group ID 1002 or whatever it is. These things don't exist anymore now that I've deleted the user. So how they were written is how they remain here. So it's 1002 and 1003. These things can no longer be sort of looked up or resolved to a real name. So we're gonna delete functioner, clean that up, and that's the only place that really anything is left from this user. Of course, that is not the case if you're on NFS, if you've got remote file systems mounted. If this person has been working for 3 months before quitting, and now you're deleting the account, you may have to find and clean up some things that they've done. As a last tip before the end of this video, I want to show you just, if you're going to script, you can script, of course, the user add command. This is completely scriptable because it doesn't require your input for anything. However, if you want to create a whole chunk of new users, let's say you get an Excel file with, let's say, I don't know, 100 different users, what I recommend you use instead is new users, which is a batch mode for creating users. And you basically feed it the format for etc password, :separated values. I hope that's useful, and I hope that sort of demystifies how this works, because I know for myself, I was sort of like, users were this like strange concept. I knew there were like a whole bunch of things that were happening to make a user, but not exactly what. And you can see it's really, like everything else in Linux, it's file-based and fairly simple. And the kernel is sort of doing the magic to deal with all the security stuff that goes along with that, and PAM and all those other things. There you go. That's users in a nutshell. Now you can create, modify, delete users. Yeah. Subscribe, like, install, tweet me, Google Plus me, Facebook me a lot, and yeah, make sure to keep hacking on Linux. See you in the next video.
Yeah, this is a very, very good video here. You saw that the gentlemen have done a very, very good job here talking about user here, how to create a user, how to assign a password here, how to remove a user here. It's a great job here. Yeah, so you have a Linux which you really want to play with it to really experience how to do it here. And you also see that when he type in main space new user here, he is not quite sure we call parameter or an option here for this command here. That's happened to everyone here. No one can memorize all the option here. When some options here you're not quite sure, you just type in main space the new user. That's the command option you want to look it up here. All the menus are in there here, so it's very powerful, very user friendly. That's Linux here. So I hope you like this chapter 13, very, very powerful chapter. And Linux itself here is very, very user friendly here. That's all I would like to share with you for now.